No one alive today knows how Ambrose Bierce truly died. His last letter, postmarked December 26, 1913, from Chihuahua, Mexico, spoke of a certain delight in being a gringo in Mexico. Then, silence. A silence that has echoed for over a century, leaving one of America's most brilliant, cynical writers lost to history. Ambrose Bierce was many things: a Civil War veteran, a celebrated short story writer, a scathing journalist, and a literary figure often compared to Edgar Allan Poe. Yet, for all his fame, his final act remains shrouded in a captivating, enduring mystery. Born in Ohio in 1842, Bierce's early life was marked by poverty and a difficult upbringing. He escaped into books, developing a sharp intellect and a cynical worldview that would define his writing. When the American Civil War broke out, Bierce, just 19, enlisted in the Union Army. He fought with distinction, enduring the horrors of Shiloh and Chickamauga, experiences that would deeply scar him and fuel his most famous works. His short stories, particularly An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, vividly capture the psychological trauma of war, the blurred lines between reality and illusion, and the brutal indifference of death. He was known as Bitter Bierce for a reason. After the war, Bierce moved to San Francisco, becoming a prominent journalist and satirist. His column, Prattle, was notorious for its acerbic wit and relentless criticism of political corruption and social hypocrisy. He was a man of contradictions, a brilliant wordsmith who alienated many, a staunch individualist who yearned for a grand, meaningful end. Perhaps this internal conflict ultimately led him south, to a country in turmoil. In 1913, at the age of 71, Bierce, seemingly weary of life and disillusioned with America, decided to ride into the heart of the Mexican Revolution. A decision that, to many, seemed almost suicidal. He wrote to a friend, "If you hear of my being stood up against a Mexican stone wall and shot to rags, please know that I think it a pretty good way to depart this life. It beats old age, disease, or falling down the cellar stairs." Bierce, it seemed, was seeking not just adventure, but perhaps a dramatic, fitting end to a life lived on his own terms. He was drawn to the raw, visceral drama of revolution, a final, grand spectacle. He traveled with Pancho Villa's army, a journalist observing the unfolding chaos. He sent letters detailing his experiences, his fascination with the violence, and his growing sense of fatalism. His last known communication was from Chihuahua. After that, nothing. No body was ever found, no definitive account of his death ever emerged. Just a void, a chilling silence. So what became of Ambrose Bierce? The theories are as numerous as they are speculative, each one painting a different, often grim, picture of his final moments. One popular theory suggests he was simply caught in the crossfire of the revolution, an anonymous casualty in a brutal war. A stray bullet, a forgotten skirmish, and the world lost a literary giant. Another posits that he was executed by Pancho Villa's forces. Perhaps he witnessed something he shouldn't have, or his cynical American perspective clashed with the revolutionary's ideals. There's also the romantic, yet equally grim, idea that he deliberately sought out his own death, staging his disappearance as a final, macabre act of defiance against old age and a world he no longer wished to inhabit. Some even believe he simply crossed into Texas, assuming a new identity and living out his days in quiet anonymity, finally escaping the public eye he so often disdained. However, the prevailing sentiment among historians leans towards his demise within Mexico, caught up in the very maelstrom he so eagerly rode into. His desire for a good way to depart this life likely met its tragic fulfillment. Ambrose Bierce's disappearance serves as a haunting coda to a life filled with conflict and brilliance. His absence is a literary mystery, a tangible gap in the historical record, but also a testament to his enigmatic character. He chose his ending, perhaps not the exact circumstances, but the setting. He sought a dramatic, meaningful exit, and in vanishing into the heart of a revolution, he certainly found one. The fog of time and revolution has obscured the truth of his final days. Yet, the mystery only adds to the legend of Ambrose Bierce, the writer who walked into the unknown and never returned. His stories continue to chill and provoke, his ghost lingering in the shadows of literature, much like his physical presence vanished into the dusty plains of revolutionary Mexico. What other historical figures do you believe chose their own dramatic exit?